All right, here we are for our first round, and we are on the draw. This is an interesting hand because we only have one land. We have a Bird of Paradise, and we have three Wild Nacatls. So I'm inclined to keep this hand because there are a lot of decks that, if I just play Nacatl, 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 if I draw a second land, my hand is actually quite good because I can have three 3/3s in play on turn two. So I'm not going to mulligan this hand. There are certainly ways that this hand can go wrong, and decks against which it's probably not great, particularly if we miss our land drop. But I think this hand has enough potential. It's quite powerful. Watery Grave. That is not a land I've seen a lot of. Is there playing like? Opponent's probably playing something like Ad Nauseam if he's playing a Watery Grave on turn one, especially with Watery Grave Serum Visions. My guess is something like Ad Nauseam. Because I actually don't even know all that well the lands people play in Ad Nauseam decks, but that seems like one of them would probably end up in there. He went top. It's always scary. All right, so I think I just want to play Stomping Ground. I could play Stomping Ground Bird, but I think I just want to play Stomping Ground Nacatl, because we want to start attacking, and playing Bird here. Even if we draw if we don't draw a land next turn, then we're just playing Nacatl and start attacking. If he does have maybe it is actually Bird. If we play Bird now, but if we do draw a land next turn, playing Nacatl and then Nacatl is just dramatically better. Even just Nacatl, and then if we draw a land, we're attacking for 6. I think I just want to play Nacatl. Given that I think that he's playing some sort of combo deck, I think that I would rather get some sort of clock in play. And if I draw any fetch land, my clock is way higher, rather than just play a Bird and sort of try and hedge. Yeah, so Lotus Bloom, all right. So he is almost certainly playing Ad Nauseam. So I'd really like to draw a fetch land this turn. Oh god, he is like everything. If I draw a fetch land, no. All right, we will attack you for 2. We may be a little bit slow here with no lands to actually play these Nacatls, and my Nacattl's only a 2/2. He has it all, and I don't have a second land. So yeah, definitely Ad Nauseam with the temple there. He can even like go off next turn, right? Because he has a Pentad Prism. He just has like land, Angel's Grace, Ad Nauseam. I'm gonna look up these decks on my other monitor. Land. Yay! Might not be in time, but so I want white-green here. We'll attack him for 6. In theory, I just play another Nacatl and say go. Well, he's got to have something. Probably dead, is my guess, given that he's putting himself to 9. At minimum, he has Phyrexian Unlife, which makes my life fairly miserable already. And the fact that he's exactly 9 means that, oh no, he's just Angel's Gracing. Alright, I'm dead. make him have it. Does your deck actually contain cards? Look, it does. Alright, I'm just going to concede. I don't want to make people wait through this. Alright, so that game, you know, whatever, he had just a great draw. So, as far as sideboarding, I want to remove basically all my expensive stuff. Domery is certainly pretty bad here. Thundermaw is potentially reasonable because it does damage immediately. Path is certainly very bad. So cards that are quite good are Thalia. Stony Silence I think is actually quite good too. Grudge is good. Blood Moon's good. Probably Smiter is probably too slow. Helix is probably too slow. How good is Choke against him? I'm looking up a deck list on my other monitor here. Choke, there's like not many islands, but Blood Moon is good. So, alright. I think this is probably what I want. Mind Sensor? Is Mind Sensor good against anything? Mind Sensor is good against, like... No, nothing really. There's no, like, actual search through your deck cards. I guess some of them have mystical teachings, but it's not really there's like one of those. Or Teleria West, but not really what we're looking for. So I think this is a reasonable setup. This is you know, not a great matchup for the deck. You are much more sort of mid-rangey than you can't necessarily race them nearly as well. I mean, that game, if I'd actually had the land right away, I think I would have won, because I just would have attacked him for 3, then played two Nacatls, and would have been able to outrace the combo the turn that he played it, because he was dead on my next turn, and I was, like, you know, really far behind in terms of my ability to actually deploy threats. So yeah, I would have attacked him for, you know, 3 then 9 and just had bolts. So, but anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and submit. We will play first. This hand is not fast enough and has no disruption, so I'm going to mulligan it. This is, you know, obviously a fine hand in the dark, but it's not going to beat this deck, so we'll mulligan. This hand is going to have to do. We have Birds of Paradise, we have Blood Moon, which I think is going to be very powerful here. Ancient Grudge seems quite good. Bolt is mediocre, but being able to play Bird into potentially Blood Moon off of and Night also seem very powerful. So I'm going to go get basic Forest here, because I have a Bird. And because I have a Blood Moon. And hopefully I draw land. This seems to be a theme. Grudge is not particularly good against Lotus Bloom because he can just sack it during his upkeep. Grudge is actually quite good against Pentad Prism, though. And if he can't necessarily go off that turn with Bloom. Top. What a jerk. And we drew a land. So now the question is whether I play Blood Moon or I play Night. I think I just want to play Blood Moon because I don't want to give him access to colored mana next turn to potentially. I guess he could play Pentad Prism, but he can only play it. He can play it anyway. So I wonder if it actually makes much of a difference whether I play my Night or my Blood Moon here. I think, given the cards, I mean, he could play Search Effects. That's about it. So I think I just want to play Night. He can't reasonably go off next turn. So let's just play Night. And this gives me, I probably actually shouldn't have gotten basic planes. I probably should have gotten something else so I could actually search, sack it with Night next turn and still have that in my deck. That was probably a mistake. So yeah, now I'm just going to play Blood Moon in my turn. I'm going to sack this, go get something, play Blood Moon. And it should be difficult for him to win, especially with, you know, Bolt Grudge, I guess. Blood Moon, though, seems like the most powerful card here. By a lot. I don't even really need a forest. I can just go get a non-basic land, which will become... I guess going and getting a forest now is actually probably... If I just get Stomping Ground now and play Blood Moon, then yeah, I'm just gonna attack him for 9. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna get a non-basic land because this enables me to have a mountain for Wild Nicodle. Just have 9 power, and then attack twice and bolt him. Plus, I can play Grudge and flash it back if need be. All right. Well, we will attack you. I'm just gonna say go, and my phone is buzzing at me. And then I'm going to grudge his bloom when it comes in his upkeep. So this way I still have lethal with Lightning Bolt. And he could cast something now, but he's not gonna be able to float mana in his main phase. He's only gonna be able to get 1 color, so he can't possibly combo Ad Nauseam. And even if he has a basic, because he'd have to get double black from this to cast Ad Nauseam, he just die to the Ad Nauseam. So he could Angel's Grace this. Angel's Grace with this, but it doesn't really do anything. Okay, it just dies. And we'll bolt you. We'll kill you. Blood Moon's a hell of a card. Alright. So, that's definitely one of the powers of this deck. And it's one thing that's entirely possible is that this deck may want just more Blood Moons and fewer Choke. It's possible that I just want 3 Blood Moon and only 1 copy of Choke, if that. Just because Blood Moon is so powerful and the matchups is good. It is true that Choke is also excellent in a lot of those matchups, but Blood Moon sort of cuts a wider swath in terms of the decks that it actually is that powerful against. Choke is, and some decks that are vulnerable to Choke are also vulnerable to Blood Moon, or even potentially even more vulnerable to Blood Moon, and Choke can sometimes not actually restrict them too much because they have non-basics. Or they have stuff like Celestial Colonnade and stuff. Choke doesn't really stop, whereas Blood Moon against those decks is frequently pretty crushing. Blood Moon and Choke against those decks, the combination. I remember playing against the Mono Blue Tron deck a while back where I had exactly that, and it was pretty funny. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and submit. One thing that I do like about Thundermail Hellkite as sort of the big threat as I draw one. So this hand again is like not great. Doesn't really have a super fast clock. It does have Nicodle on turn 1. My opponent is keeping his hand. This hand doesn't really have an incredibly fast clock. It doesn't really have disruption. I'm inclined to mulligan it again. Thundermail's not that great. Great Bolt's not that great. I do have Nicodle and Hierarch, but I'm on the draw now, so that the ability to actually win with that kind of clock is significantly reduced. So I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. And this hand needs another land. Also doesn't really have great disruption. I'm going to mulligan this again. And we have a hand that is approximately as good as our first one, a little bit worse, but we're not going to go to 5 when we have at least a playable hand. Oh, he's double Lotus Bloom. I really want to draw a Stony Silence. All right, well, we're just going to open with Wild Nicodle. I forget if I have 1 or 2 Sacred Foundries in my deck. I think I have 2 in this version. Double Lotus Bloom. Give me a Stony Silence. Stony Silence. Come on. Come on. Don't know what my phone is buzzing me about. I don't see anything. I hope his hand is just missing stuff, and he just kept it because he has 2 Lotus Blooms. Be missing key pieces. This hand could potentially win someday. It's theoretically possible. The annoying thing is that against some Lotus Bloom decks, Ancient Grudge is actually quite good. Against this one, Ancient Grudge is actually not very good because Lotus Bloom is they can just crack it in their upkeep. All right. Well, I'm just gonna play the Sacred Foundry and attack him with a Wild Coddle and hope he has nothing ever again. Not once, not never. Play the Scavenging Ooze. And here come the Lotus Blooms. Come on, Stony Silence. Stony Silence. Stony Silence. And you have nothing. Have nothing. Have nothing. Those are my 2 options at this point, basically. Grudge is not going to cut it. I wonder if it's possible that given the relative popularity of this Ad Nauseam deck, that Stony Silence is an even better sideboard card. It's possible that maybe you want like even 3 Stony Silences. Probably not 4, but given the popularity of Affinity, the 3rd Stony Silence is I think quite valuable. I do think that it's possible that this deck, this particular version of like Naya Zoo, doesn't really need the Fracturing Gust in order to actually beat Boggles, because I have 3 Pride Mages. I can't even like Blood Moon's probably not even good enough because he has 2 Lotus Blooms. Stony Silence. Ooh, Keswick Wolfrun, just what I wanted. All right, well, we will attack you. A mighty attack for 5 damage. What can you do? All right, we're gonna sack a Marsh Flats. We're gonna go get basic Plains. We're gonna play Knight of the Reliquary. We're representing not even lethal. If you can't go off with your 2 Lotus Blooms, I can do what? 6, 7, 8, 9 damage? Yes! I could kill you if I have a Bolt. And you have nothing. But I don't have a Bolt, so I'm done with nothing. I could certainly see the argument for playing an additional copy of Stony Silence in the sideboard over something, just to have, sort of additional. It's obviously very powerful against Affinity, but it's also quite powerful here as a way to actually. Oh, there's Angel's Grace, so he's just got it. So we're dead. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the chances of this particular version of Naya competing against the Ad Nauseam deck, when you don't draw any of your hate cards, like that last game we drew a Blood Moon, and Blood Moon basically just beat him. This game, his hand was his Slaughter games in his deck. What in the world? What planet is he on? But in this game, he just had what he needed, and my deck wasn't even able to compete with a normal draw of his. He's killing me turn 4, which is that's obviously fast, but it's not outrageous. And I really needed to have something like a Thalia or a Stony Silence to be able to compete here. Blood Moon wouldn't really have done it because of the Lotus Blooms. So, oh well. Or that 1/4 who prevents people from playing more than 1 card a turn, or one of the other anti-storm type cards I took out of my sideboard, which would actually be good in this matchup. But I'm just letting him kill me because, well, I don't have anywhere to be. Actually, I do have somewhere to be, which is a new queue. So Let's go ahead and jump into one of them. Modern. There we go. We're gonna have to join another one. If this guy doesn't kill me by the time that one starts, then oh, there's 6 in the queue. Does he know how to kill me? Does he like have enough spirit guys? He's got enough spirit guys. Oh, storm count is 5. Oh, my other match is starting. Okay, well, let's go ahead and scoop this one up. Oh, wait, no, this match. All right, we're gonna concede and jump over to another game. Boom, boom. All right. Next match. You know where I'm gonna be right here in a moment.